Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Let's Talk Retail. This is where we embark on an extraordinary journey through the realms of retail innovation and transformation. I'm your host, Jitendranath Patri, and I'm thrilled to introduce you to a series unlike any other. In this podcast, Let's Talk Retail, we will dive deep into the heart of the retail industry to bring you conversations with true thought leaders. Today, we have the privilege of hosting one such leader, Mr. Vivek Bali, CEO of Enrich Beauty, and brings with him a wealth of experience and expertise in the retail world, specifically the beauty and cosmetics domain. In this exclusive conversation, we will explore Vivek's journey from his pioneering role at Sephora India to his strategic positions at global giants like Avon, Lakme, and Polaroid. With a rich blend of brand building, business development, and retail expertise, he has successfully driven growth across consumer segments. Join us as we uncover the secrets behind his exceptional leadership and the vision that he has for the beauty and cosmetics industry. Welcome once again to Let's Talk Retail. So, Vivek, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to Let's Talk Retail. It's good to have you on board.
Thank you, Jitendra.
I was going through your profile and you had a very extensive career, both in the global and even the Indian markets, right? How did you manage the dynamics of both these markets, especially from the strategically perspective?
I think importantly, I got the right exposures to different markets at the right time in my career. And the learnings that we take across from India and when we go to global markets, India is a vast market and it's a widely distributed market. And you have different types of customers over here. So I think importantly, what you need to do is when you go into say, an international environment or a new country, what you need to understand is how is their GDP growing? Basically, how is the affluent households growing? Affluent or the middle class growing? And since it is beauty, so the large consumer base is primarily women. While nowadays the men's grooming is also taken off fairly strongly. So what you do is look at your women participation rate in the workforce in that particular country. Because once you see that how much money there is for the ladies to, the other aspect is in terms of understanding the culture over there, in terms of usage. Like India in the initial years, say if I go back 20 years, there was a very conservative approach towards going to a European market or a North American market. What happens over there is that the usage of cosmetics is pretty high and it starts at a very young age. So that you need to understand. And therefore, then once you understand that, you will get a good idea in terms of what are the requirements for these customers. And obviously, you get into 4 Bs of marketing. What is my product assortment going to be like, or a brand assortment going to be like? If I look at it from a brand perspective, what is my product assortment going to be like? If I look at it from a retailer perspective, which are the brands that I'm going to bring in to cater to this? And therefore, then clearly identify which are these consumers that are going to be my target market. And then you get into your vision already there. And then what is going to be my positioning of the products? How is my DNA of the company and the brands matching each other? And therefore, what am I going to present to my customer? I think that's of prime importance when you look at a new market.
And does this thought process also help you in like helping build these brands and create a kind of a position within these markets?
Yeah, absolutely. See, what happens is that every brand already has a customer in mind. So what's the kind of customer they're going to cater to? Now you got to look at the pyramid, whether it's the premium end or the mass end or the value end. And supposing I'm looking at a value mass brand, then I know what's the kind of, after I have done the initial study, I know what is going to be my positioning of the particular brand to those customers, what's going to be my then pricing strategy, and what's going to be how I'm going to promote the product and how I'm going to distribute the product. Similarly, when you get into a retailer mode, what you need to see is that you have decided already your vision and your DNA is already part of your company, which are these brands that match the DNA? When I say DNA matching means that if I'm saying that my retail space is going to be a place where I'm going to have a lot of new stuff coming in, new brands coming in, new products coming in, then the brands also have participate in the same way that they have a lot of new launches and new products come for that particular market in various categories. You take makeup, you take skincare, you take hair care, fragrances, bath and body, accessories, everything. So how they are going to come into play. And then if I decide as a retailer that I'm going to basically be a place which is experiential. So I'm going to have an experience area in every category that I have. And also the other important thing in this is that I if I am a great place to learn the art of makeup or the usage of skin and hair care, then each of these brands also need to be able to give that learning to the customer in my store. So that is extremely important. And the third thing is that I celebrate the diversity of that particular country. I celebrate the festivals and functions of that country. And therefore, I adapt my range to market those kind of products and brands during those periods in the market. So I think these are the three, four core things that once this match happens, then I think you can start rolling out your plans effectively.
I bring you back to your tenure at Sephora India, right? And we saw remarkable success under your leadership. So, what are the challenges you faced during this period? Was there phases of turnaround that you had to undertake to establish Sephora in India?
See, I think there is on the same principles that I talked about earlier, evaluate the, we started the Sephora business. What is the existing Sephora business? What are the areas in which there are concerns? Now, obviously, when you start looking at that, first is you look at, okay, you're talking retail because you're talking Sephora.
Right.
So, how are my categories positioned?
Right.
How is my store layout? Should I lead the store layout with, say, a makeup or fragrances or skincare? And how should they be distributed within the store so that the customer has an ease in identifying where these categories are and where the selection. So I think layouting is very important. And then within the layouting, you also give good positioning to brands that are exclusive to you within the store, within that category section.
Right.
And then it is important, I think importantly, what is the merchandising strategy of how I need to lay out within the category or within the brand, the products. Now, let's take makeup, for example. So, makeup, I personally feel, and I have seen success with that, is that you lay out based on the usage of the product. It's sequential. So, what happens is that if I'm going to start my makeup with, say, concealers and primers, then I got to start with concealers and primers. And I then go into foundations, compacts, eyeshadows, then your mascaras, eyeliners, and then you get into lipsticks and polishes and finish it off with your fragrance. So that's the way typically a consumer uses the product. And if you lay out the product like that for a consumer shopping, it becomes very easy to browse. As or you would end up buying much. Their shopping experience becomes very, very, very smart in the sense. There is another aspect that happens within that particular category. Say, for example, it's foundation. How do you merchandise your foundation? You merchandise your foundation starting from the lighter shade, going to the darker shade, so that when the consumer is browsing, her eyesight doesn't get affected. Because if you have a light shade, then a dark shade, then a darker shade, and then it's all hodgepodge, their patience suffers, and then they just drop the purchase. So I think that is extremely important, and that is true for every product, whether you take a lipstick or a nail polish or a foundation or a compact it's light to dark, and the same shade family should stay together. That's the way it should be done to really bring out a great shopping experience.
Interesting. You're actually literally tracking the consumer as he or she uses the products, and then ensuring that it is stacked accordingly. So, right.
Yes.
Now, mine is sequentially programmed, of course. So that way, I think would help the purchase.
So these were the things that I saw when we started the business, and we corrected these areas across the stores. We made sure that our merchandising is perfect, our layout is perfect, Then in terms of making sure that how do you allow customers to try the products? Because makeup or skincare or fragrances cannot be bought without trying. It is important. So, so therefore, making sure that product testers are available in every product, in every shade, so that customers can try it.
Right.
And once you do that, then there is easy trial. Now, how do you make them try? So we have gone through a couple of phases. We had a phase where pre-COVID, where there was no problem. People will pick up the product and try it. But at Sephora, we made sure that we maintain the hygiene factor right from the beginning.
Mhm.
Applicators for every product category. Yeah. So if it's in makeup, you'll have disposable mascara wands, you'll have disposable lipstick wands, you'll have disposable eyeliner wands, you'll have eyeshadow applicators, you'll have spatulas for skincare, you'll have tester strips, the scent strips or fragrances. These were fully available. So even pre-COVID, we made sure that these things are a hygiene factor in our store and people feel nice and safe inside the store. The other thing is that how do you bring about the experience? There was no experience happening, and Sephora is famous for its experience. So what we did was that we created something called mini flash makeover, which is something that we give free, which is part of the learning DNA to the customer. These are mini makeovers, and you can try like I want to do a smoky eye, I want to do a night smoky, I want to do poke contour, I want to do luscious lips, I want to do flawless complexion. There were some 8 or 10 looks, and we would come out with these looks every year, and they would last for a year. And we would give free mini makeovers to customers to try. And when they like the makeup look, they start buying it because they're really liking what's happening. So that was one thing that we introduced. The second thing is on the skincare side, what we did was that there is a problem solution situation. And we talked about if you have this problem, find this product over here. If you have this problem, find this product over here. That was clearly trained to the staff. The staff were trained for that. And plus, it was again displayed there very clearly accordingly. Similarly, what you do is you have a section called Find Your Fragrance. A lot of people in India, especially, need to understand how to find a fragrance that suits them. So, what we did was we started displaying products by fragrance family florals, fruity, Chypre, woody, spicy. So the top brands or the top products in these were displayed there so that when the customer comes, they already have a pre-selection over there. Oh, I like floral. So these are the selections over there. Oh, I like fruity. These are the selections there. So I think these changes and training was very critical because what happens, your staff needs to be trained very well. They need to know for every product in the section that they are handling, what is this product, how to use it, what's the end result, and what's the benefit. These four things, if they know of the products, so therefore training was repeated. The same training was repeated once a quarter. So that is up to date on that very clearly. I think these were the changes, and obviously most was selection of the location inside a mall where the store should be, so that visibility and reach of the customer is not hampered.
Right. I think this is so critical. And I think so many times brands just miss out on a lot of these little nuances, which can just make the experience so very enriching. Interesting points you raised that hygiene factor was taken in, the way the entire merchandise was stocked, basis flavors and fragrances and colors and different attributes. So, and the reason, and actually this leads me to the next question, which is the beauty and cosmetics industry is obviously evolving. It's continuously evolving. There's a lot of new trends, new ways of shopping. So how do you, with all your experience, really see how should a brand stay at the curve and ensure it remains relevant and innovative in such a dynamic market where there's so much choice, firstly?
Yeah. So what happens is now take a typical again, let's go back to a Sephora example. Or even if we take an what is important is that you got to make the shopping of the customer very good and that experience very good. So what do you do? Continuously brands need to launch new products. See, typically if the brand does well, 20 to 25% of the brand sales will come from new launches because people are looking for new. People are not going to be coming and shopping the same thing over and over again. Yes, it will happen, but I think they are also constantly looking for. And now we have a very young customer India is a young country, 65% of the population less than 35 years of age. They they are global travelers. They travel everywhere, and they expect those things to happen in India. So what you do is that when you have a new launch, you give it a good platform in the store. So we have a lot of visibility elements, which is like there's something called a launch pad, which any new launch goes over there. Yeah, any big launch goes to the launch pad. Launch in a category goes inside a category launch pad. Yeah. And it gets visibility element, and that particular product is displayed there, not only on the, say, a wall bay or a gondola, but also on something we call a retail parasite, which is attached. If there is a new launch, say, in a brand called Sephora, so in the Sephora counter, there will be something called a retail parasite on which that product is also separately displayed so that it is not missed. The second thing that we do is that we have a table called Hot Favorites. Hot Favorites is about latest makeup trends. So you display latest makeup trends and you look over there and you buy them in a combination. Okay, if you buy this foundation, compact, eyeshadow, mascara, lipstick, this is the look that you'll get. Right. That's the other thing that comes out very clearly. The third aspect is that every new launch in my store, say by Sephora has the 110 brands. So any new launch will have something called new written nearby where the product is, yeah, like a wobbler, right? It's there so that when the customer is browsing, they know, oh, this is new. So they see it very clearly. The other thing that we help the customer is that in every section, say category, makeup, skincare, hair care, fragrances, we talk about the top 10 best sellers. So again, there is a wobbler. Talks about bestseller number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And therefore, what happens is that again, when the customer is browsing in that particular category, and every wobbler has a color of the category. A red is for makeup, green is for skincare, blue is for fragrances, pink is for women's fragrances. These are certain colors associated to those categories. And those wobblers are in those colors, so they know, yeah, yes, skincare, man, these are my top 10. These are my top 10 in hair care. These are my top 10 in makeup. These are my top 10 fragrances. So these aids help you market the product very clearly, and customer feels very happy. There are 110 brands, they can get lost sometimes. So this actually brings the product out, brings the category out, brings the brand out to the customer.
Were these some of the pointers that you used and when you were actually building a sense of customer centricity within the organization? I know you listed quite a few of it down, but especially with online coming in, how do you even manage those dynamics today?
Yeah, so the principle is the same, whether you are in a store or whether you're online. Your online shopping experience also has to be reflect what you do in the store. It can't be different. So if there is a category wise layout, there is a category wise layout in the store, there is a category wise layout online. Within that, I'm going to talk about bestsellers. I'm going to talk about what is new. I'm going to talk about what does the editor pick as the top sellers. Then every brand has a page so that the brand can reflect itself in that particular page the way they want to do it, but with some guidelines of the retailer. And therefore, what happens is now comes the linking of both of them. And that's where we come into an omni strategy. The omni strategy basically says that if I'm your customer, come into your store, I'm shopping in your store, I have the option of shopping online. I have the option of coming to the store and shop. I have the option online to click and collect. I'll say, okay, this is what I want to buy, but I'll come and pick it up in the store. Oh, no, I know what I want. You deliver it at home. So they order it. And then I come to the store. I like something and I like something. It happens sometimes that that product is not available, but the tester is there. She's tried it. She likes it, but she can't find it there. So you do something called save the sale, endless. So please order before you reach home or the next day morning. This will be at your doorstep. You ship it out from another store or from the warehouse. That's how you bring them in together and come up with this omni strategy.
So is this the same principle thought process that you're now taking into Enrich Beauty?
Absolutely. I think the advantage at Enrich is that Enrich is also famous for its services. Their services are fantastic. And the entire gamut of services is there, whether it is hair care, whether it is hair treatments, hair color, hair styling, hair. Then your skincare, your facials are there, different types of facials are there. Your manicures and pedicures are there. And then you have waxing, which is another part, brow shaping, which is another. I think that advantage Enrich has, which nobody has. And along with that, it has retail, which is what I described, category wise layout, selection of 80 to 100 brands, and very clearly identified this is these are skincare brands, these are makeup brands, these are fragrance, and those experience zones. So one of the biggest experience zones in Enrich is the service area. And then the retail area also has this experience. So it becomes like a one-stop shop for all things in beauty.
Right. And of course, you'll come back to Enrich and you took, and very interesting because I think you're seeing both sides, right? You've seen the product side and you're seeing the service, you've seen the services side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there similarities? Are there differences? And how do you manage that, the dynamics of it?
Oh, no. I think when you work in these categories, what the similarities are. So for example, that let's take an Enrich example. I've come in for a service. I've gone in for haircut or hairstyle. My technician who's attending to you looks at your hair, and recommends a certain treatment and recommends a certain product. Now you come to the for service only once a month. That's generally the frequency.
Right.
But balance 29 days you are at home. So you need to treat your hair during those 29 days. So therefore the product is there for you to treat yourself and come back again after a month for the next step in that.
Correct.
Similarly, say facial. I have done the facial, but again 29 days I'm going to be at home. What do I do at home? So here is your cleanse, tone, moisturize, serum, mask for your at home treatment. So again, they will recommend these products to be taken. So the correlation is that in hair care, they recommend the products that you should take home with you for your further treatments or for your further nourishment of the hair. In skin, also the same thing. So that it's a 30-day program for you and it becomes like a regimen for you at home. So that's how you correlate. Similarly, in makeup, you get a makeup done, you get a say a flash makeover done or a full makeover done, and then there is a recommended product that you can take with you home or for users at home because those are the shades that match your complexion. The process and a much more affluent process. And your customer feels at home, yeah, listen, I'm getting service done and I'm also buying my products at that. That's what.
So it's like under the one roof, you kind of get literally what you want.
Yeah. And they will spend more time with you. They will not be in a hurry. There will be some customers who are in a hurry, but most of them will spend time because they are getting that richness of spending so much time on service and products in the store.
Right. So the experience, the fact that you're getting the products in one place and also the overall customer centricity approach that's happening at the floor. Today, I think as we go along, there's a lot of emphasis on sustainability and conscious consumerism. Right. So how is Enrich Beauty taking this on? How is it incorporating this into its strategies, day-to-day strategies?
Well, I think organic sustainability is one part of the business now. It started a few years back, but now it's gained momentum. And therefore, now what happens is, as a retailer, firstly, you need to design your store with elements which are sustainable, which are organic. Enrich does that beautifully. So they use only those materials which are sustainable, which are organic. So that's one part of your store decoration and furniture, fixture, etc. The second part is when you look at the brands. Now,
Right.
obviously, every brand today is wanting to get into organic products, sustainable products. So as part of their portfolio, whether they are in skincare, they will launch organic products or sustainable. And those were highlighted in their merchandising inside the store very clear. I think we are seeing that trend where we talk about ingredient stories, which ingredient works for you and how it does well on the skin. Another thing that most brands, a lot of brands have started to talk about. And I think that's the next step that is going. And I remember at Sephora, we had even accessories that were organic, sustainable material. So we had launched accessories, we had launched skincare, which was sustainable. Now they've launched makeup, which is sustainable. Yeah. So I think the trend is towards that. At Enrich, we have our own private brand also, which is called, which is a sustainable brand, which is organic. It's cruelty free. Yeah. And it uses the best ingredients that are sustainable. Right. And goes into cleansing, toning, moisturizing, masking, serums. The entire range is an organic range. And I think that is doing extremely well. It's because we use that for service also. We use that for retail also. So I think that trend is there. It is there to stay. And I think consumers are very conscious. Not, I would say 100%, but I would say that today 25-30% have already moved in that direction and it is growing.
Interesting. And added to this, I think the beauty industry is also seeing or has witnessed a significant digital transformation. So, how is Enrich Beauty kind of bridging this gap? How are they adapting or adopting to the entire shift?
Yeah. So I think, like I talked about the omni channel strategy, the same thing applies to Enrich. And I think we have our website, but I think we are now going to relaunch the website the coming month, October, before the one. I think that would be talking about both things. We talk about service, we talk about product and the linkages. That should give an omni experience. Same thing, click and collect, buy at the store, or deliver at home, save the sale and decide. Those features will be there very much in that. And see, I firmly believe that obviously beauty is such a category where consumers would like to come to the store and try the product. Makeup, you have to try it. Skincare, you have to try it. Fragrances, you have to try it. But you can't. There are artificial intelligence methods of trying the product online, but you don't get the same feeling that you get when you come physically to us. So this, I feel, try before you buy is what we call it, will always remain. Intelligence will aid it, but it will not give you 100% satisfaction, but it will give you satisfaction that how do I look when I put that product on face or lips? How do I look? You will see that. But getting the right shade selection happens physically.
Physically, super.
But that these are the shades that I'm using and I'm happy, you can continue to buy online. When something new has come, surely once you want to try it, then you can buy online. So I feel online will always be a subset of the total sales. It will not be the only sales.
Right. Interesting. And I think also, I think this category, I think lends itself to personalization, right? And so what's your take on personalization? What is it that you're doing in the area of personalization that is going to really enhance customer experience even further than what you really described so far?
Well, I think makeup especially is about personalization because every complexion is say an India market, North India versus West India versus South India versus East India or Central India. Complexions differ. Yeah. So it's all about personalization. Now, see, the expertise is that with which we come, with the experience that we gather. Is this only what's the right product and what's the right shade that should be positioned in the right proportions in a particular region? That's very important. While today people are traveling from north, working in the south, south working in the north, east working in the west, west working in the east, or any part of the country, the complexions have got mixed up. So, but you will still see this is because of immigration for jobs. They want to buy locally. So, therefore, you have to have a constant eye in terms of how the trend is changing. How are my lipstick shades performing? How are my nail polish shades? How are my foundations and compact? When you see that trend, you will be able to position the right product, the right city, the right region properly. I think that's important for personalization. The second part of the personalization happens at the store. When you're doing those mini makeovers, you're actually matching the shade to the complexion. So therefore, that experience is the most important experience, and you need experts to do that. And that's another part of the training that we do. That how do you personalize different categories, say makeup, skincare, hair color, to that particular region, that particular city.
And brilliant. I think, and of course, added to it today, of course, you have how do you engage the customer also post purchase that adds to the personalization, right? So, with all your experience across both the services and the products and global and India, where do you see the beauty industry going?
So I think firstly, I think the beauty industry is on a growth path. Like I said earlier, we were fairly conservative. Today, we have a young population which is demanding. I would call them newbies, the youngsters, 18. to 24. They want to try something new, and they want to try new shopping experience other than the earlier experience where they would go to say a department store or a nearby store to pick up their products. Now they want that experience. They are keen to learn. They are well traveled. They know what are the trends. They actually come in advance and ask you, when is this brand launching? Are you getting it? So I think to cater to that customer, you have to be on your toes. You have to be smart enough to launch new products at the right time. Global trends. Earlier, it used to be that okay, new launches start in North America, Europe, third world countries. Now that has changed. Most brands are launching globally at the same time. So I think because they all understand that the consumer is very well traveled, they know and they are looking for it. So I think the most launches today are global. It's not at the same time, maybe 1 week, 2 week delay, 1 month maximum. They are there in India for the consumer. Then there are trendsetters. These are customers again, a little more customers. They would be say age group of say about 24 to 35. They are only looking for new trends. What is new? What is new? That is exactly what they are looking for. And so therefore, it's important that if you are a retailer or if you're a brand, keep continuously, your innovation has to kick in and your innovation has to come on the shelf very quickly. So speed to market is important. How you launch these brands quickly with a fantastic launch. Right. Yeah. Obviously, everybody does a launch plan, but how do you execute it on the ground so that it resonates with the customer very quickly? And therefore, you tie up your social media, you tie up which is the new way of reaching the customers, and you tie up your website starts talking about it, your store starts talking about it, your starts talking about it, and then it goes viral.
Interesting. Interesting. I think just to quickly summarize, I think this discussion, I think it's an absolute revelation for me to understand how this industry really works and how you look at it, right? So quickly summarize, I think it's very important to make the customer feel comfortable, offer a very personalized experience right from the beginning itself, right? Ensure you take into consideration or into consideration the customer's and see how you can make the journey easier for her during the shopping. And at the end of it all, ensure you have the trends that are there, the a customer really needs, that what makes her more sticky to the brand.
Yeah. And I think the important thing is as a retailer, you want a store to become sticky with the customer. They cannot stay without coming to your store. You know,
Right.
I
Right.
think that comes with the entire thing, a clear vision, a clear DNA, clear strategy in terms of what you want to launch. What's my learning experience? What's my store experience? And what's my store shopping experience? And therefore, which are these customers that I'm going to target? And I want these three different types of customers, which is the newbies or the trendsetters or the evolved customer, to graduate within my store, not go outside. You know,
Right.
I want to become a trendsetter. I'm a trendsetter. I want to become evolved. So I want them to graduate within the store, not go outside seeking something.
Super. Vivek, it's been a pleasure talking to you. And thank you so much for walking through this journey of yours and wonderful insights into the category, into the industry. Thank you once again. It was a pleasure having you on board.
Thank you, Jitendra. My pleasure also.